Today we're going to be looking at how you can organize your dashboard and your calendar to make it easier to keep track of your assignments and due dates. So the first thing that we're going to look at is a dashboard. So you can see here, this is your typical dashboard with all the different cards for the different courses you have access to. This is called a card view. If you wanted to change your view, there's three little dots up here that you can click and then choose a different view. So instead of card view, we can choose the list view. The list view shows you each course's daily assignments. So we can see here that this student has a voice placement test today, some other assignments that they've already completed for this, and some that they need to complete for science. And we can scroll through the days and see the different due dates that they have as well. So that is one way that you can actually get a better view of the things that you have for each class without having to click through that class so many times. The other thing that you can do is click on those three dots and choose recent activity. And then you can see announcements, assignments, and discussions that have been posted by your teachers. So I'm going to bring this back to the list view so that you can see everything. You can also see that for those assignments, you can see that there's grades and feedback and replies. There's things that state that certain things are missing. So that's something that you can pay attention to as well. So you can see what kind of feedback you've received for an assignment. Another thing that you can do is you can go to the calendar. So the calendar is in your global navigation bar, so right here. If you click on it, there's also a few different views you can see from here. Typically, this is the view that you'll see. This is the month calendar. And so you'll see the different assignments that have been added by your teachers. Every color corresponds with a different course, so we can see here that your purple courses correspond with your health class because that's purple as well. You can also tell by scrolling over, or just kind of hovering over it, and then you can see which calendar it is. So this one says the calendar is health, and it tells you what the assignment is as well. So if you're not sure, you can always click on it and then click on the assignment as well. So it's another way to view the things that are due. Another view is the agenda view, and that, like the dashboard and list view, gives you an idea of what is due for each period each day. And so that might be another way to help organize yourself. So there's a few different things to note here. One of the things is that there are some things that are crossed off and some are not. Now, that doesn't mean that you haven't completed it. So you'll want to pay attention to the icon over here. This right here is an assignment icon. It's a page with a pencil. Those assignments, once they're completed, will cross off automatically. So it looks here like that the student completed this exit ticket, and so therefore the agenda view has crossed it off. It also looks like they've done a few other assignments. However, it doesn't mean that they haven't completed something. So this page icon here is probably just an embedded assignment, like a Nearpod that they have to go through. And so they might still have to go through everything, but once they do, it's not going to cross off here. So you'll need to keep track of the things that you are completing in that way. You can always do that by going back and looking at it, or you can make yourself a paper list or print out a list for yourself of the things that you have due. But that's another way to look for it. Your discussions will cross themselves off, so will the quizzes as you take them, but other things like events, say period 3 math test today, just because that's on there doesn't mean it's going to get crossed off. It looks like they just added it to the calendar. So pay attention to those things. Another thing that you can do is use the packet that went home in your welcome packet. So there's an agenda in there, and you can use that agenda to write down daily what things are due. So at the end of class, it's a great time to clarify with your teacher the things that they expect you to do during asynchronous time. Remember that half of your class period is live, but the other half you're expected to complete assignments for that class. You're not finished yet. And so if you're not sure what those things are, talk to the teacher, get it written down on your agenda so that you can make sure you can follow through with that as well. So between the agenda view here and the paper agenda you have, you should be able to stay a little bit more organized with the information that you have. Just remember that just because you haven't crossed it off doesn't mean you haven't completed it. So you'll want to double check it for those little page icon assignments. But for, say, this singing scale Flipgrid here, it's not completed yet. That's an assignment we can see because remember it's the page and the pencil, and therefore we can see that she completed these two or he completed these two, but not this one right here. So if they were going back into this agenda view, they'd see that they haven't completed it and will have to complete it. So that's the basics of how to organize these, and I'm hopeful that this helped you a little bit.